everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, this week we're going to be taking a look at the Mixolydian scale, and that scale is used a lot in jam bands. So jam bands are like the Allman Brothers or the Grateful Dead or any of these extended jam type scenarios. Oftentimes the guitar player, or whoever's playing a solo for that matter, will go into the Mixolydian scale. So I'm going to explain what that is and how you can use it. And also I'm going to show you some licks. This lesson is made up of some Allman Brothers sounding licks and some Jerry Garcia style licks. So I kind of took the two different styles and put them together and created this week's lesson. I'm going to break this lesson into two parts. So in this video we're only going to look at the first half. But if you want to watch the second half as well as download the tablature and the jam track so that you can practice along, you can go to ActiveMelody.com and look for EP080. So let's go ahead and get started with part one. Alright, so let's get started. So before I jump into the specific notes, let me talk through tone that I'm using real quick. I am playing obviously on a Fender Telecaster, and I have a little bit of a slapback delay. You can hear that. I'm using a TC Electronics flashback pedal for that. You don't have to have that. I just thought it gave it a little bit of a vintage sound to have a little slapback delay. The only other thing I'm using is the Boss BD2 pedal, the Blues Driver 2 pedal, which I use in just about every lesson. I have the overdrive set at about 30%, so it's got a little bit of a growl, but not too much. And that's really all I'm doing from a tone perspective. So, as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be playing out of the Mixolydian scale. Now, not everything that I played in that intro piece was all in the Mixolydian, but I did touch on it in a few places. And so some of you are probably going, what the heck's a Mixolydian scale? It sounds complicated. Well, it's really not. It's very simple, actually. It's the same scale as the major scale. And the major scale, by the way, is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, So, or an A. This is the major scale. It's a very recognizable scale. It's easy for you to pick out. So if you're playing in, no matter what key you're playing in, you can use your own ear and pick that out, that scale out. Well, the Mixolydian scale is that same scale, but you change one note. You change the seventh note. It's a flat 7. So here's what I mean by that. If we're counting the notes, hear that? That was the 7th note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See how that was changed? All I did was, instead of playing it here, I played it here. So it's flatted that one note. And it sounds kind of funky when you hear it out of context without a backing track, but that's, or a band or something, but that's the Mixolydian scale. That's all there is to it. You're just changing one note in the major scale. So now that you know how to do it, and you can just do it, with your own ear, just count the notes and go to that 7th note and just flat it. And on the guitar, all you do is move it down 1 fret to flat it, and that's really all there is to it. As I play the Mixolydian scale, I'll point it out, and some of you may be going, well, why would you use that scale? Well, it just gives you a different feel. It kind of changes it up. You're actually kind of straddling between the major and the minor pentatonic scale when you play add that one flat 7th note. It's a subtle change, but it can really enhance your playing. And guys like Robin Ford use it a lot, or even Jerry Garcia was really famous for using the Mixolydian scale. So the first thing that I played was this little thing that goes. And it was just this kind of repetitive. That's really an Allman Brothers thing that I've heard. And that, by the way, so let me back up. We are in the key of A, and we're playing right now in the A major pentatonic area. And to find that, so some of you are going to go, how do I get that? What you do is you find the root fret. So wherever you would make a bar chord, if you're playing in the key of A, you'd make a bar chord here, right? So that's the 5th fret. That becomes, I always think of that as home base, and I say this in a lot of lessons, but I like to repeat it. So that's where, if you were to play blues, your minor pentatonic scale would be here. All those notes are hitting the 5th fret. Well, if you go to the major pentatonic scale, you go down 1, 2, 3 frets. So that's the major pentatonic scale for the key of A. So when I play, you can see that's just the notes right here in the major scale, major pentatonic scale. Okay. let me go back. So we're starting here on the second fret, 4th string with our pointer finger, and we're going to do a hammer-on to the 4th fret, 4th string. That's the first 2 notes you play. Then we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to do it on the 3rd string. So we have, and then I play the 2nd fret, 3rd string. And notice I'm just picking that once and again. So it's down, up, down with my right hand. Down, up, down. And then on the tab you'll see that I went, just gave it a little, it's kind of like your voice, when you're singing and your voice sort of trails off. That's what happens when you play sometimes. And to do that, it's just going back to the 4th fret and the 2nd fret on the 4th string. Okay, and you're going to see that we're going to repeat that lick a lot. And then I'm going to come up here and go. Now that's a mouthful, but it's actually pretty easy when I break it down. So let's start here. We're going to start on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. Now some of you may go, hang on, that's not in the major pentatonic scale. Remember, the major pentatonic scale looks like this. We didn't play that note. You would be right, but it is in the major scale. So the major pentatonic scale, penta just means 5. All you're doing is you're taking the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and you're just stripping it out to just 5 essential notes. That's the pentatonic scale. The major scale has some extra notes. So it has that note, and it has that note. So it has those 2 extra notes in it. That's really all there is to it. So just think of the pentatonic as just being a real stripped down version of that. It makes it kind of easier. You have less notes to worry about. And so that's why a lot of people like that scale, because it's just kind of simple. All right. All right, so the lick goes, let's get those first 4 notes. So we start here on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, 2nd fret, 2nd string, 4th fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret, 3rd string. Notice the picking pattern with the right hand. It goes down, up, down, up. Now watch what happens here. Once you land here on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, I'm going to go ahead and bar so that I can play the 2nd fret, 2nd string. So watch this. Then we can come back and repeat the 4th fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret, 3rd string. Now we're going to come down and play the 4th fret, 4th string. So you can see what's happening is you're doing a cascading. Watch this if we do it slowly. See how it's starting to cascade down? It feels like if you're dropping a, like playing pinball or something, and the ball's kind of cascading down something. Okay. Then I came up and went. Let's do that. So that's on the 3rd, most of that's on the 3rd string. So we're going to go 2nd fret, 4th fret. We're going to slide up to the 6th fret. Come back to the 2nd fret, back to the 4th fret. So we have, all that was played on the 3rd string. So let's back up. We have, and then I'm going to take my middle finger and reach down and play the 4th fret, 4th string, and then land on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. So slowly what we have is, and then play that up to tempo. It goes just like that. All right, let me back up and I'll play everything up to that point. So we have, now we're going to repeat, and that is just that little intro lick that we started with. And now I go into the Mixolydian scale. You see if you notice where it happens. And I almost kind of held out on that note to stress it, but it's, right there. So this is all a run from the Mixolydian scale for the key of A. So we're starting on the 2nd fret 2nd string. We're coming up to the 3rd fret 2nd string, 5th fret 2nd string, 2nd fret 1st string. Now we're going to go to the 3rd fret 1st string. Now see, that's where we changed it. Now if we were to play the A major scale, it would sound like this. But it sounds more bluesy to add that a flat 7, and that's what gives it, that's what defines that as the Mixolydian scale. All right. So we have, then we're back to the 2nd fret 1st string, back to the 5th fret 2nd string, 3rd fret 2nd string, and then we end it with, wait, that's how I ended it. So I slid up. So once I went to the 5th fret 2nd string, I slid up to the 7th fret 2nd string. Just like that. All right, let me back up. Here we have. Now check the timing on that. I'm going to tap my foot. Three, 4. Okay, now we're back to the intro lick. And then this time through I went. That's an even bigger mouthful, but it's actually really easy because all we're doing is we're playing the A major pentatonic scale for that. And you're going to see that a lot of it is just bouncing back and forth between the 4th fret and the 2nd fret. But I started that run by putting my ring finger here on the 4th fret 3rd string, and I slid it up to the 6th fret on the 3rd string. Then I used my middle finger for the 5th fret 2nd string. Now it's important to get the right fingers for this because you're going to need your pointer finger for something else here. So use these two. Use your middle finger and ring finger for that. That's what those are the notes. Now after you hit the 5th fret 2nd string, you're going to come back to the 6th fret 3rd string, but as soon as you hit it, you're going to slide down to the 4th fret, just like that. Then we're going to play 2nd fret 3rd string, 4th fret 4th string, 2nd fret 4th string. So we have that little run. Now after that, then I'm going to go ahead and bar when I'm playing the 4th fret 2nd string so that I can jump up and play the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. And we can play that. Again, this is another little cascade if you analyze what's going on. So we're going to come up, play the 2nd fret 3rd string, 4th fret 4th string, 2nd fret 4th string, 4th fret 5th string. So let me back up. We have. Now we're going to continue the cascade. Watch this. And for that, we're going to play 2nd fret 4th string, 4th fret 5th string, 2nd fret 5th string, open 5th string. So you can see the cascade. It goes, starts here. Now after that, I came up and after we have that open note, which is convenient, that lets us take our hand off the fretboard, then I can put it back and use my ring finger to play the 2nd fret 5th string, slide it up to the 4th fret on the 5th string, and then the final note is the 2nd fret 4th string. And you got to slide that up. So let me play that whole little run. I'll do it slowly. We have. See how I came up and grabbed that with my ring finger? That allowed me to do this have a free finger here to hit that final note. And it sounds it may seem complicated. Some of you may be thinking, well, how did you know to play that open note, and how do you know how to resolve these things? A lot of that stuff I just do with my ear. And the way that you do it with your ear, you don't have to be a musical genius or anything. You just have to listen to other people's stuff. So as I listen to what the Allman Brothers do, and I listen to tons and tons of Allman Brothers stuff through the years, I have these licks kind of in my head. And that's really how you learn, is by listening to other people. So all of this whole run, that's made up of things I've heard other people do. And it's hard to kind of dissect it and tell I know this is Clapton. Huge Clapton fan, so you'll hear a lot of his playing and or his influence and the stuff that I do. But this little run, that is totally something that you'd hear in like vintage Allman Brothers. Okay, so then we get back to the little intro lick again. And then, let's see, the last time through I went... And for that, I'm going to bar the first 2 strings, start here on the 5th fret. As soon as I hit it, I'm going to slide up 2 frets to the 7th fret. And then just come right back to the 5th fret. So it's... And I think I just slid it. I picked it once, and then slid it with my hand to create the second note. And then, this we've already done. So that, again, is starting on the 4th fret 3rd string, sliding to the 6th fret 3rd string, and then playing that 5th fret 2nd string. And then we're going to, as soon as we hit that, we're going to pick it and slide it. And then the final note there is on the 2nd fret 3rd string. So this is the this is the 6th fret 3rd string, 4th fret 3rd string, 2nd fret 3rd string. So the timing of that, you gotta, let me tap my foot for that part. So you can hear it creates its own little rhythm there. Instead of going, you're going. As soon as you pick it, slide it down, but you don't slide it immediately. It creates a second note there if you kind of delay it a little bit. Alright, so let me back up. I'll play everything that we've learned up to this point, and I'll play through it slowly. I'll tap my foot too for timing. 1, 2... Alright, so now we come to the D part of the song. And then I played this Mixolydian scale, but I played it in the key of D this time because we're playing in the D chord. And I'll show you how you can get to this version, or this voicing of the Mixolydian scale. Normally when I play, I like to stay in the key that the song is in. So if we're playing the key of A, like we are, I would just stay in the key of A. Even when the chord changes to D, I would continue to stay in A, and that will work just fine. You could play more major pentatonic stuff. You could switch to the blues and play minor pentatonic. But I would just typically stay in the key of A. However, in some situations, it sounds really cool to switch the scale to match the chord. You can do that too, and that'll give you some other options for playing. Now, some players do that all the time. Jerry Garcia, for example, does that a lot. If you listen to any of those Grateful Dead recordings, there's a lot of them on YouTube, you'll see that when the song switches keys, oftentimes he'll switch keys too. And that gives him his own sound. So, and I did this in this intro just to kind of show that we can do that and how this works. So when we switch to the D part of the song, I played this D Mixolydian scale. let me show you how you can get to the D Mixolydian. So if we're playing this chord shape, so I'm going to assume you know how to make this chord shape. You have the two chord shapes, really, the two major ones. This is how I think of it. You have your bar chord like that, so like you're playing an A like that, or you can play one like this. Now that's a D. The D bar chord would look like this. So if we're using this voicing of a chord, where your where your pointer finger hits on the 5th string, that's the beginning of the Mixolydian scale. You can think of it that way. So let me show you the notes of that. It's also the beginning of the major scale too, so you actually are learning two things there. But you take your pointer finger at the 5th fret, 5th string, and we're going to go to the 7th fret, 5th string. Then we're going to go to the 4th fret, 4th string. I'm just showing you the scale, and then we'll get into the specific licks. 5th fret, 4th string, 7th fret, 4th string. And so far, it all makes sense to your ear because it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? So now we're on the 4th fret, 3rd string. Now here's that flat 7. So there's on the 5th fret, 3rd string. Then the 7th fret, 3rd string. So if we put it together, so what you have is anytime you have a D now in a song, you know where to find that Mixolydian scale, and you can make up your own little solos there. So that's what I did for this. So when I went, now the scale will extend, so it doesn't end. So if you wanted to extend that D Mixolydian scale and keep going up, you'd go, okay? And so that's what I did when I played this little lick. Now let's learn the lick. So the way I started it was on the 4th fret, 4th string. Started there with my pointer finger. Then I came to the 5th fret, 4th string. Then the 7th fret, 4th string. Those are the first 3 notes. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it up a string. We're going to do it on the 3rd string. So we're going to go to the 3rd fret, the 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. So let's put it together. We have. Now we're going to come to the 5th fret, 2nd string, 7th fret, 2nd string, 8th fret, 2nd string. So watch this. We have. Alright, let's do that slowly. Now we're going to walk back down. And I just hit each of those twice on the way down. So from the 8th fret 2nd string, we have 7th fret 2nd string, 5th fret 2nd string, 7th fret 3rd string. And then the final note there was the 5th fret 2nd string. So let me put it together. Here's how it sounds. And you can see, hopefully with that explanation, how you can play your own stuff out of that scale. Now that you know where the Mixolydian scale is, you could continue making up your own solo or do your own version of it. You've got the notes now. So feel free to rearrange them and come up with something else. What's nice about this is where it gets really cool, is because the scale that you just learned is also, if you think of it as acetate, you're just laying it over the minor pentatonic scale for the key of A. So you could really quickly and very easily switch gears into the minor pentatonic scale and play some real bluesy stuff. So you can mix those two parts. See how I just went from the Mixolydian to the minor pentatonic scale? So hopefully that's, light bulbs are going off for some of you out there, and you're starting to realize that these two scales are just totally, a lot of the shared same notes between the two scales, minor pentatonic scale and the Mixolydian scale, and they're all just kind of bunched together here. But if you can start to separate them out visually, it's just a visual thing for me anyway. I'm a visual learner, so I guess we're all a little different, but I visualize what the scale looks like and I can see it on the neck in my mind. then you can start to separate out and say, okay, now I'm going to go minor pentatonic scale. I want it to sound more bluesy. Now I want to sound more like Jerry Garcia or whatever. So that's how you do it. And then to close that lick, I went. Now most of these notes here we've already played. So now we're going right back into the major pentatonic scale. So I'm going to go 7th fret 2nd string, 5th fret 2nd string, 6th fret 3rd string, slide it down to the 4th fret 3rd string. So we have then 2nd fret 3rd string, 4th fret 4th string, 2nd fret 4th string. So let's put all that together. Then we're going to go and play those two notes. That's just on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, hammer onto the 4th fret, and then land on the 2nd string. Okay, so at the beginning of the D part we have. And then there was a pause, and then I go into the E part. Now, I'm doing the same thing that I just did, but this time I'm going to switch the scale and I'm going to play it over E. And now, why did I do that? Well, the song switches to an E at this point, and you'll see that in the tablature, by the way. The song switches to an E, so to play this E chord, remember the chord shape we just learned with a D, or we played, we're going to do that same chord shape here, because that's where you do it for an E. Now, some of you will be thinking, okay, so if this is where the E is, so I could do the E Mixolydian scale like this. And if I wanted to keep going up. So the lick that I played, and this will make sense now that you know the scale, was. Okay, so let's start it. Now we're going to start this lick here on the 9th fret 4th string. Then we're going to come up and play, and you really want to use your pinky, that's the proper way to do that for that note. Then we're going to come up and play the 6th fret 3rd string, 7th fret 3rd string, 9th fret 3rd string. Those are your first 4 notes, and you play them like that. Now we're going to follow that same tempo and go. And for that, we're playing all of those 3 notes on the 2nd string. So it's 7th fret, 9th fret, 10th fret. So let's put those two pieces together. We have. Now we're going to do this. So after this note, we're going to come down to the 9th fret 2nd string. Then we're going to come up to the 1st string on the 7th fret. And we're going to come back to the 10th fret 2nd string. So we have, let's start it over, we have, and that's what you should have so far. See how I put it to a little bit of a shuffle when I played it? Then I came down and went. Now watch this. So I switched from my pinky to my middle finger on the 10th fret 2nd string so that I can do this. And what I'm doing for that is I'm doing a hammer-on pull-off between the 9th fret and the 10th fret on the 2nd string like this. There's the hammer-on pull-off. And then I slide it down to the 7th fret 2nd string. And you do it all together like that. So let me put the pieces together now. So we have. Now I switched fingers there because it's easier for me to do the hammer-on pull-off like this. Some of you may be able to do that with your pinky. That's actually a better way to do it. I just can't really do that with my hand. So whatever fingers work best for you, I guess. Then I come back. Again, you see a lot of this cascading stuff. I'm repeating now. I'm coming back to the 10th fret 2nd string, 9th fret 2nd string, and now I'm going to go do another hammer-on pull-off. This time I'm going to do it between the 7th fret and the 9th fret. This starts here on the 2nd string. There's your hammer-on pull-off. Then I do another hammer-on to the 9th fret, 3rd string. So yeah, I just picked that once. So let me back up. Let me do it slowly. Then to round that out, I went. So I just went back and forth between the 9th fret and the 7th fret. The 9th fret, I'm on the 3rd string. 7th fret, I'm on the 2nd string. Okay, so we have. And then I did this Dickey Betts right out of the major pentatonic scale, and that's just played on the. I'm starting that on the 1st string, 7th fret, the 1st string, 5th fret. Then we're going to go down to the 2nd string on the 7th fret. Now I'm going to do a hammer-on between the 5th fret and the 7th fret on the 1st string, and then the final note there is the 5th fret, 1st string. Alright, so let me back up and I'll play through everything slowly. 1, 2. And that is the first half of that solo. Now, if you want to learn the second half, go check out ActiveMelody.com, look for EP080, and you'll be able to download the tablature for the whole thing and the jam track so you can practice along. It's just an MP3 file that's missing the guitar part. So you'll have all of those assets to play with. Also, you'll have the second video, the second half of the video lesson. It's a very affordable membership as well. So if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to do so.